Back to the top story we're tracking here on DD India News App, Prime Minister Modi's ongoing visit to Bhutan. And joining us is Professor Sanjay Bharadwaj from the School of International Studies at Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi. Professor Bharadwaj, welcome to DD India News App. Now, what did you make of the optics and outcomes on day one of the Prime Minister's visit to Bhutan?
Thank you, Ramesh,
Welcome.
for this opportunity. It is quite reflective while Prime Minister Narendra Modi was speaking in Bhutan and Thimphu. He emphasized one, of course, is the cultural bondings that the two countries are having historically and civilizationally. Particularly while we talk about the ethos and values of peace. In the region, the importance of Buddhism and non-violence in the region in this subcontinent. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has categorically emphasized that we are looking forward to have a peace, not the violent society and terrorism. And he was very upset about the incident had happened yesterday. So, and we have also seen that the leadership of Bhutan, the king as well as the prime minister, has also condemned the incident and extended the condolences to the families who have been aggrieved yesterday.
Right.
So you can see that the two countries had been stood in the past together about in the crisis as well as in the joy, and of course we have also shared the cultural and historical and civilizational ties. And you can see that the way Prime Minister has participated and offered prayer to the holy relics of Tasicho in Thimphu, and also participated in the global peace prayer festival that is organized by the Bhutanese government. So it is also reflecting that the ethos and the values of the significance, the contribution of Bhutan in the global or you can gross national happiness or global peace has been recognized by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But
Indeed.
second very important
Sure.
point that he had emphasized about the economic and strategic ties between the two countries, that how India is important, significant for the development of Bhutan, and how Bhutan is also cooperating and extending its support in the energy security as well as in the strategic issues while protecting India's
Right.
northern.
Professor, I'm sure our viewers would like to know more about Bhutan, its transformation from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy, its transition to democracy, and about the royal family of Bhutan itself, King Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk and his father Jigme Singye Wangchuk. Tell us, if you will, how and why did the now former king abdicate in favor of his son in 2006?
It is very, very important and very, very significant example before the world community. There had been a bottom-up approach for demand for the democratic institutions in the country and the people's participation in decision and policy-making process. But very interestingly, here in Bhutan, it was a top-down approach where the king, Kesar Namgyal, has introduced democracy in 2008 and conducted elections and strengthened the democratic institutions like judiciary, like the parliament of Bhutan. And the people had enthusiastically participating in decision making and policy making process. Of course, the credit goes to his father, where the country is celebrating 70th birth anniversary of King Jigme Wangchuk, that he had been instrumental in openness as well as in the modernization of Bhutan, where different institutions like the decision-making councils, like the elections and like judiciary and all other institutions has been introduced from 1990s and onward. So this is very significant developments that in Bhutanese society is taking place. Though in this democratization process, they are very conscious about their national identities. That is the Drupka culture they are having, and they are also believing in the Buddhist Mahayan philosophy. In this Buddhist Mahayan philosophy, they had the codified laws, and under this Buddhist Mahayan philosophy, they are looking forward to have gross national happiness as well as the developmental aspects, where they are protecting our environment. They are also protecting the corruption free society in Bhutan. So I'm sure that the way the Bhutan is moving under the monarch Khesar Wangchuk, definitely it will reach to the full democracy, and it will
Right.
become a monarchical democratic institutions in the world.
Indeed. And talking about India-Bhutan ties, Professor, how would you describe Bhutan's place in India's neighborhood first policy? What sets the India-Bhutan relationship apart from the rest? I ask you this, and correct me if I'm wrong, the India-Bhutan relationship is anchored in a treaty. It was adopted in 1949 and revised in 2007. So what does this new treaty say, and how is it different from the old one?
Yeah, both the questions are very important. While you are talking about neighborhood first policy, I will come later, but
Sure.
let me cover it. The 1949 treaty that basically Bhutan had been guided by a number of political and strategic and foreign policy issues by India under 1949 treaty, and that has been very successfully, very cooperatively, very had been functioning over the years. But since there are openness, and now the Bhutanese people, they are educating in India, they are educating in the Western countries, they are aware about all the developments taking globally, they are aware about the voice of the global South and all that. So I think the two countries has provided a positive rationale to review and revise the 1949 treaty in 2007. Only one thing, that the Bhutan's foreign policy will not be, no more will be guided by the India to deal and have the relations with other countries. And I think India had this policy, while we are just not looking Bhutan into the bilateral context. We are looking Bhutan in the multilateral context, multilateral engagements. There are examples like in 2015, we have come out with the BBIN motor vehicle agreement, where Bhutan, India, Nepal, and Bangladesh, we were trying to have the visa-free and with border-free motor vehicle movements across the region. The second very important aspects that India, we are coming out with number of infrastructural projects, and these infrastructure projects, particularly if I'm referring about the Kokrajhar Gelapu line that is connecting with Assam with the southern Bhutan, is connecting from Shillong to Silchar, and then it is going to connect with entire northeast. So it is not just connecting with northeast. Basically, India is looking forward to connect Bhutan with the Southeast Asian countries. They have the very strong spiritual bonding with the Southeast Asian countries like Thailand, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, and all these Buddhist countries. Then they are looking forward, and they are following Bhutan's gross national happiness, the way the Bhutanese, they are preaching, they are promoting the Buddhist philosophy, Mahayan philosophy itself. So I'm sure that this treaty has been functioning very well. Now, since India, Bhutan is very significant, very important partner. It openly endorsed India's membership in UN Security Council, India's a number of issues on issue of terrorism, on
Right.
security, and all that. So India has given priority in the even in the neighborhood first policy. While Prime Minister Narendra Modi took oath in 2014, the first visit, it was Bhutan.
Indeed.
And there we have announced number of very significant projects like the digital library, UPI, and all that, that so that it can add to the Bhutan's development. And in that, we are under the neighborhood first policy, we are prioritizing three things, three policy objectives. One is, of course, the security, and we are looking forward, let Bhutan cooperate in the internal security issues like countering terrorism, defying fundamentalism, and curbing insurgencies in the Eastern South Asia sub-region. And that there is an example in 2002, Bhutan has supported India in the Operation Clean Heart, and they have been successfully eliminated the Ulfas and the
Right.
insurgent groups. Bhutan. So this is one. The second, of course, the external security, and Bhutan is not very conscious about entertaining the extra-regional powers like the Chinese, like the Americans in Bhutan and all that. So they are concerning. They are looking forward to have India's cooperation or India's support in the security issues. The second very important aspect is the developmental partnership. India, we are contributing in the developmental projects of Bhutan. 13th five-year plan, that is from 2014 to 2019, India has contributed about 10,000 crores for the development of Bhutan, and we are also contributing and looking forward to have number of other developmental projects in energy sector, in environment, in educations, in IT sectors, IT solutions. We have the academic institutions in Bhutan. So all that way we are becoming a developmental partner in
Right.
with Bhutan. And third, very important, is the political stability, and I'm looking forward that the Bhutan itself has started democratizing its process itself, and it is providing a political stability in the country. So India is looking very strategically, economically, politically very significant partner for India and South India and Southeast Asian region.
I'm afraid that's all we have time for. I will have to leave it at that. Professor, thank you for joining us and sharing your perspectives with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time.